This is Smarter San Diego TV.
You said you've been talking to scientists, people who have solutions. What needs to be done? $8+ billion in profits in 3 months, but they won't admit that it's happening. Should women be allowed to become Navy SEALs?
The short answer is no.
You lived there
Oh
for
my
4.5
gosh.
years and you didn't know?
So the government now, very invested in the mortgage industry. What's happening in China that no one knows about, the news isn't covering? Tell us what's going on.
I'm in the naughty corner today.
Like you said, you're not getting rich in the military. You got to come up with a way to build some wealth. Real estate, best way to do that. I mean, can it still be fixed? And how serious is it really? And if so, what do we need to do?
And now, here's your host, Derek Evans.
Welcome to Smarter San Diego TV. This is the place right here where you get smarter, and it's all commercial free. And look who's joining me on the yellow couch today.
Woo,
my
good day,
co-host.
sir.
What's up?
Good day, San Diego.
It's your first time on the yellow couch.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Privileged. I'm usually stuck in the corner.
I
over
know,
there.
we took you out of the corner. I said, you know, we really could bring back up to the couch for the open. We don't
Yeah.
have to leave her in the corner the whole show. Today we're going to do something kind of interesting.
Okay.
This is the first time we've sort of fielded questions. We've been doing the show for about 6 months now, and we get lots of emails, but we haven't been answering them on the show. So your Ask SSD, as in Ask Smarter San Diego segment, will be the open of this show from time to time as we'll answer people's questions. We get a lot of them.
Yep.
Over 60,000 people see every episode, which is crazy. I mean, we got an email, in fact, just this weekend from someone in Germany who's a teacher who teaches English.
So cool, yeah.
You saw that, right?
Yes, I
I
did.
had to post it on Facebook.
Of course.
They're like, yeah, can we use your segment to teach the students? Crazy. So a lot of people are seeing the show and asking questions. We want to answer those questions. And some of them are really good. So let's dive into that, Beck.
Yeah, okay, so Derek. Jake wants to know, he says, I'm in sales and heard that learning NLP can make you smarter and better at sales. Is that true? It costs a lot to take the courses.
Do you know what NLP is?
No, I was going to ask.
Okay.
You have to explain what NLP is first.
All right, so NLP is neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh, okay.
And what it is it's a system by which people can essentially manipulate other people.
Right.
I don't really believe in it because of that. I think it's sort of egoistic and manipulative. I don't think that you can do it with really good intentions. I really don't.
Okay.
So it's one of those things. I started to take the courses because it sounded neat. It sounded like a better way to learn how to communicate and all that stuff. But in reality, once I started the courses, I realized this is all about manipulation.
It's kind of a controlling technique in sales.
Manipulating conversation and taking people down paths they necessarily don't want to go down. So I would say, Jake, don't do NLP. I mean, yes, it will help make you better at sales. There's no question about that. It will make you better at sales because you'll be able to manipulate people more efficiently.
But if you're trying to avoid the snake oil salesman thing, then...
Well, the question is, do you want to be a good person?
Yeah.
That's the question. I think that's more important. And the best thing you can do for sales, if you're a salesperson, in my opinion, is to be honest with people.
Yeah.
If you're honest with people, you tell them the pros and the cons, they'll trust you, and they'll be much more likely to buy because they'll feel comfortable. The reason why people don't buy is because they don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And if people even hint for a second that they're being manipulated, they'll most likely walk away.
Oh, yeah. They'll back out.
So,
I'm that person. Like,
so there is, I will say this though, it may be worth it for someone to take the course in order to just learn how not to be manipulated by it, but it's a slippery slope, so I'd be very careful. Let's get to a question for you.
For me.
Yes, from Chris and Judy, who've been listening to the radio show, watching the TV show for a very long time.
Okay.
They said, Rebecca, we're dying to know, where is your accent from? And I get this question all the time too, by the way.
Wow, okay. Well, it's a mix of Californian and Queen's English.
Queen's English?
Yes. Yep.
Is that what you guys call it?
Well, I mean, you guys speak English too, but it's American English. So this is English, the Queen's English.
The Queen's English.
Yes.
The Queen. Let's see. Next question. You take this one.
If I had to pick, this is from Joanne.
Okay.
And she says, if I had to pick one social media to master, which one should it be? I can't keep up with all this stuff.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Yeah, don't try to do all the social medias. It's really pointless. And a lot of times, especially in the business community, we see people making decisions based on the exception and not the rule. In other words, they hear, oh, someone got business from Twitter. I got to get on Twitter all day, every day now. No. That's more the exception, not the rule. Social media is for screwing off. That's what it's for, I mean, for the most part. Can you use social media in a business practice? So for personal, yeah, just do whatever you like. If you like Twitter, then just do Twitter. If you like Snapchat, then just do Snapchat. If you like Facebook, do Facebook. In business, pick one and make a business strategy around it. Don't just do it. Don't just think, oh, well, I'm on there, I'm posting. Why isn't anything happening? Make a strategy around it. So if you had to pick one social media to master, to really answer your question, Joanne, I would say it's got to be Facebook. Facebook is where the most people are. It's where the best demographic is. They have the highest growth in users in the 40-plus age demographic, which is huge. So unless you're a youngin', you know, let's get to the last and probably the most important question, since it is Super Bowl Sunday today. And yes, I did say Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
is anyone really watching right now?
It's like, you can't say the big game. It's the big game is what you're supposed to call it. Panthers, Broncos, do you have a favorite?
You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm a Chargers fan, obviously, but when I realized that the Chargers were, you know, lost for the season, I started rooting for the Panthers just because, you know, they used to suck. And
so you like the Panthers?
They're kind of the underdog team in my eye. I'm like, okay, you know, they're getting better. I'd like to see them go to the Super Bowl, and now here they are. But in the season, Tommy's cousin got picked up by the Broncos. So I got to go with family on this one.
Okay, so you have family on the Broncos team. Then you obviously have to root for the Broncos.
Yes.
That's
and
gonna
hey,
be tough.
they're in the same division as the Chargers, so why not?
By the way, the Panthers are favorites. Not by a lot, just a few points. And I'm telling you right now, bet the farm on the Panthers. They're probably going to destroy the Broncos, sorry.
I know.
They're probably going to crush them. This is not going to be a watchable Super Bowl for the most part.
Oh, you think so?
Have the party, make it about the party, not about the game tonight. As everyone is probably already starting to do a little this action.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't, you know, it's early, but, you know, hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Have a good time. The game's probably not going to be worth watching. But if I'm wrong, then good. But chances are the Panthers will destroy the Broncos
I think
later
it's going to be
tonight.
a great game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll do a burrito bet afterwards.
Okay.
Ready to get the show started?
Let's do it.
All right, I get my jacket on. It's time to start the show.
Our next guest is known as the breakdancing realtor. Please welcome back to the show our Chula Vista real estate expert, Anthony Manzon.
Hey! Woo! Tony Manzoni! Yes, I've always wanted to say that.
Now you did. Now you got to say it.
Do you have an Italian accent?
I don't, but I am part Italian.
You kind of look Italian.
Really?
You could pull it off.
Yeah.
You could be like, your alternative personality could be Tony Manzoni.
I could.
Yeah.
Tony
Because they
Manzoni,
Googled
yeah.
where the most Manzons are, and Italy was where the most
that
are.
it?
So I think I'm rooted back there somehow.
Great stuff. Great to have you here today. We're going to be so you said the magic word earlier, Beck. I don't know if you know that or
Breakdancing.
not.
Breakdancing realtor.
Yes. So every time we say the word breakdancing, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's going on today. So in case you want to know why we call Tony Manzoni, Anthony Manzon, the breakdancing realtor, that's why.
That is why.
That's why.
We get down.
And stay tuned, because we will show you the full 30 seconds, I think it is,
Dang.
total. Yeah, it's like a 30-second breakdown that he does
Yeah.
at the end of the segment, so stick around for that. In the meantime, let's talk about your area of expertise professionally, which is down in Chula Vista, real estate. And what I think is interesting is, you know, we did the real estate debate recently, last week.
Oh.
And I had a lot of people talking about East County versus the South Bay. And as this conversation was going on, I wish you were there.
Oh, man.
But I was like, you know, I'm going to have to ask Anthony a few different things that are coming from this. And one of those things was they were comparing East County to Chula Vista and saying, well, there's no Mellorews. Or, you know, there's no HOAs, things like that. And the schools are comparable, so, you know, East County's better. So, you know, I'm going to have to talk to Anthony about that and see what he says. So let's talk about what it's like to own in Chula Vista, or to be a homeowner, to buy a home in Chula Vista, and what some of those things are that they were talking about.
Yeah, so first of all, if you were to compare East County versus South County, San Diego, hands down, South San Diego is the best. Just like the Panthers are going to beat the Broncos today in the Super Bowl, South Bay is better than East County, and let me tell you why. Because Chula Vista is, you know, such a new community, a lot of people that I've been working with recently have been telling me that one of the main things they love about Chula Vista is that because it's so new, they can actually have an imprint on the history of Chula Vista. You know, it's not where everything established already, you know, they have these old founding fathers. They actually have the opportunity to create a community that they want to see their families, you know, live and grow up in.
Yeah, be part of the history.
Yeah, be part of the history. They get to take advantage of the new schools. I mean, most people, they tell me, you know, one thing I really love is Chula Vista is like a fresh start for me, as well as everybody else that lives here. Because everyone who lives in Chula Vista, at least the new part, which is the east side, they're saying, you know, because it's so new, everybody's brand new. It's kind of like when you first go to college and everyone's from a different place and you just become friends with everyone because nobody's been there for so long, you know.
Which is very different from a lot of the neighborhoods in San Diego. It's a pretty established area. And there's not a lot of new construction going on. We know that that's been declining across the county, which is what's causing the housing crisis that we're having.
Yeah.
Chula Vista, one of the newest communities, or the east side of Chula Vista, specifically East Lake, is a newer community where you have a lot of brand new homes, or homes that are less than 10 years old, which you don't have in a lot of other places. What comes with that is Melrose in some cases, and HOA fees, but you get something for that.
You do. So for HOA, the way I like to explain to my clients is HOA is like the homeowners association, where they make sure that everything's upkept so everyone's value stays high. I mean, you'll never have it where the neighbor next door will park their car in the street and it'll be there for a week and then it breaks down and it just makes the whole neighborhood look bad.
They're kind of like the neighborhood police.
Yeah.
Kinda,
the HOA
yeah.
people are. I mean, that's basically what
The
it is.
neighborhood
Like,
watch.
yeah, if you have something unsavory, or something that is potentially hurting the value of the property, they're going to step in and say, no, you can't have that. We can't have your dirty towels hanging over the balcony. That's not going to work for us.
Or you can't paint your house pink while all the other houses are beige.
Right.
You know, and some people, they want that because maybe they've lived in a neighborhood that's a little older with no HOA and they got tired of, you know, the neighbor hanging up their dirty towels with the pink house and they're like, you know what, I need something a little more conformed where, you know, someone will manage this and I don't want to have to be the police for my neighborhood. I want somebody else to handle it for me.
Someone else to handle it. You pay them a fee every month. And what you get from that a lot of times is also other amenities, which I think a lot of people sort of forget about.
Yeah.
That you get, you know, the pools and the recreation and the fitness centers and things like that. If you haven't been to East Lake, I tell you, it was eye-opening for me. I went down there a couple years ago for the first time and took a little tour, and I was blown away by how new and just awesome everything was. Because I've been hearing about the schools, and I was like, man, this might be for real. This might be for real. So I went down and checked it out myself. And it really is amazing how nice and new everything is. So I think for people who are looking for new construction, there's no question. Tell us about Melrose, though, because I think a lot of people have heard of HOA fees associated with condos and things like that most of the time. What is this Melrose? Does it ever go away?
So Melrose is actually a special tax assessment that's going to be paid by the homeowner in a specific subdivision. Now the Melrose was basically put into place by developers to help maintain, upgrade the common areas and the public areas of the community. Like let's say, for instance, they need to do new streets, they need new schools, fire stations, they need to put in new sewers. The Melrose is paid by the homeowner to pay for all of that kind of stuff.
Okay. So, what if someone decides that they should start breakdancing?
Then let's get to it.
Then what happens? That happens.
Exactly.
So the Melrose doesn't last forever, though.
It doesn't, and you know, so Melrose is kind of a confusing topic because a lot of people think that after 25 years, all the Melrose actually goes away, and that's actually not the case. With some homes, there are multiple different tax assessments on the home, and some Melrose just don't go away. But for the most part, I would say 95% of it will go away anywhere between 20 and 25 years. It really depends on the house that you buy and the subdivision you live in. And the best way to check for sure to know 100% is to ask your title officer or go to the county and check there.
Yeah, or you can ask Team Enzon.
We'll get it for
they have access to all those peeps.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's really interesting to me about Melrose, and I don't know if anyone else really looks at it this way, but what you're paying for is essentially a tax on an area that allows you to have like open green space and parks for kids to play in and certain things that are part of the neighborhood. They're for your neighborhood. So it's not like you're paying a tax that is going to the whole county and you don't know where the money is going. It's going right specifically to the area that you live in and play in. And here's the other thing that I think is really interesting about it. If you plan on owning your home for a long period of time, when the Melrose goes away, which it does, like you said, 19 out of 20 times, when that does go away, what do you think is going to happen to property values in that area?
Oh, property values, they go up.
They go up.
A great example would be like Rolling Hills in Eastlake. That's one part of Eastlake where there's only HOA and there's no Mello-Roos. And you can take that exact house in Eastlake Greens and that value is considerably a lot lower because people have to factor in the Mello-Roos into their pre-approval price. When there's just the HOA and no Mello-Roos, I mean, the property values in that neighborhood are one of the highest price per square footage.
No question. It's a really, really nice area. I have a buddy who lives down there, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the Mello-Roos comes off, and we have examples from the past, prices go up. So you kind of have that built into your investment from the very beginning. If you're getting you're buying a new home that has Mello-Roos,
Yeah.
you are getting automatic built in at some point in the future. Not only is this payment going to come off, which is going to be nice for me, but I'm also going to see a jump in my home value, all in that same stroke. So that's one of the things that I think people need to know about buying a home that has Mello-Roos. Is there anything else people should know?
Yeah, one more thing is that when you look at Mello-Roos, like what I'm telling my clients is, you know, look at the age of the home and calculate 25 years out. If the house is almost 25 years old, you can almost assume that the Mello-Roos is going to expire pretty soon, even without checking the county when it expires exactly. So we're having clients that are buying some houses that are 23, 24 yees old, Mello-Roos just about to expire. And you know, a lot of people are kind of straying away from those houses because the Mello-Roos is a little bit higher, but they're buying it now, only have to pay it for maybe a year or two, and then they get the benefit once it expires.
Yeah, that's actually a really good investment speculation idea right there. What else do you think that buyers need to know about buying in Chula Vista right now?
What else do buyers need to know? Honestly, I mean, rates are good. I mean, rates are low. They're historically low. If you want to get in at a time when rates are low and they may never be this low again, I mean, now is the right time to buy.
Okay, so let's talk to those same buyers who might be looking for hot properties. You got any of those for us today, too?
Yeah, so actually we have a new listing that's going to be hitting the market February 20th. We're doing our mega open house. So if you want to see us in action, February 20th and 21, it's at 1025 Camino Atajo in Rancho Del Rey. Just an HOA there, no Mello-Roos, kind of what we were going off of.
Yeah.
Great home, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, about 1,800 square feet, has a deck with a crazy view, nice swimming pool with an outdoor bathroom. This house is completely custom and upgraded. We're selling for $560,000.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
wow.
Yep.
Nice.
That's going to fly off the shelf, especially with the mega open house.
Yeah.
Because you got to go try your special sauce there. You make your own stuff there, right?
Oh yeah, my world famous shredded barbecue beef sandwiches.
Shredded barbecue beef sandwiches.
Yeah.
You got to check them out, the mega open house. Of course, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate down in Chula Vista, you know who to call. Call Team Manzon, Anthony Manzon, the breakdancing realtor. Thanks, Anthony, for coming today. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. And stick around, of course, for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we
Guaranteed to make you smarter than everyone else.
commercial free.
Our next guest is the San Diego County Director at the Center for Employment Opportunities. Please welcome to the show for the first time, Robert Smith.
He's here, Mr. Smith.
Thank
We
you.
made it. Robert Smith, I've been telling everybody about all these years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here. You do some great work. We want to tell people about it today. And so first of all, it's not just about getting people jobs, it's about getting certain people jobs, right, CEO? Tell us about CEO.
So Center for Employment Opportunities originally started in the 1970s. We were part of a project with the Vera Institute of Justice. And in 1994, we branched off and became our own 501c3. And we've been helping people that are formerly incarcerated coming out of jail find their way into employment. And we've been doing that for 30 plus years.
Wow. So is this CEO a government entity?
No,
Or it's not, it's separate.
Yes, CEO is a nonprofit organization.
Nonprofit organization, but you work for the government.
No, no,
You don't?
yes, I worked exclusively for Center for Employment Opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a nonprofit organization that probably gets some grants and things like that from the government, I imagine, but probably gets funding from all sorts of places.
Absolutely. I mean, we're constantly on the fundraising trail, but we have contracts that we have with San Diego County Probation, Caltrans, that provide the support that we need to put our folks to work.
And so the first thing I want to do is address what some people might be thinking right now, like why is there a nonprofit organization that's designed to help people who are getting out of prison get jobs and not an organization to help people who aren't getting out of prison get jobs? Well, there are, by the way. We're just not interviewing them today. So just so you know, this is extremely important because when someone does go to prison, the whole system has just gotten crazy. I mean, it really has. Have you seen this documentary on Netflix, Making a Murderer, about the guy up in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard all about it. I've seen all of the...
I don't even know if I should tell you to watch it. So
I've heard it's very one-sided.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What happens, and what unfortunately in the legal system happens now, which our forefathers fought so hard to make not happen, is that people are guilty until proven innocent, and then of course that guilt never leaves them.
Right.
So someone might go to prison for 3 or 4 years for a crime, and during 3 or 4 years, having 3 or 4 years to think about it, do I ever want to come back to this place? Chances are most of those people I imagine are like, no way, okay? But they're forever that guy that they were at their worst moment. It's like frozen in time. So they have a real hill to climb in order to go out and get a job and function as a normal part of society afterwards. And that's where you guys come in, correct?
Absolutely. Our mission is to provide employment services, immediate employment services for those that are exiting the system. And the guy that you mentioned that's coming out from doing 3 years, absolutely. He's stigmatized in the workforce. What did you do wrong? He has to answer that question. For us, our business model is very different than a lot of social service organizations that are just helping people find jobs. We're actually the employer of record. So for this year, we will employ 400 formerly incarcerated individuals. So we've taken that first step for employers. We put them on our payroll. We cut payroll checks every day for them. We're using work as that incentive to help them remain engaged and stay out of the system.
Right, stay out of the system. That's super key because we have more people incarcerated in the United States than any other country.
Any other country.
Right, and it's by quite a bit. It's not like a close race.
Hugely disproportionate.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I mean, it really is. And the guilty until proven innocent thing is like something I could go on a whole tangent on. Don't let me forget one of these days to do that. But
I'll come back for that show.
Okay, you want to come back for that show? But when it comes to the work that you're doing, you're trying to take people legitimately who want to change, who want to get back in and just live a normal life. I mean, that's the thing that we don't realize is when someone does something wrong and they have a chance to think about it and they just want to live a normal life, there really has to be an extra nudge to give them that opportunity because they can very easily get discouraged,
absolutely,
become angry, and then have essentially no choice but to resort back to crime. So I want to talk about what your sort of mission is and what some of the things you guys are accomplishing with these people because ultimately it's making San Diego County a better place.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. So our mission is to provide immediate, effective, comprehensive employment services for any formerly incarcerated person. Over our time here, we opened our doors here in San Diego in 2011. For a number of years now, we have been going through an external evaluation that proves that we have a 22% reduction in recidivism. We actually ran a comparison study in San Diego through Harder and Company, another independent evaluator, that shows that we're showing huge impacts on that reduction in recidivism. So without CEO, you'd have 400 people that are coming out of the system that are just trying to wander the streets of downtown and find their way. And, we're there with our doors open to help them find their way right into work.
Okay, and so and work is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're working with major employers, I imagine, as well.
Yes.
To say, hey, would you be willing to help us place some of these people? What are the challenges because I'm thinking about two different types of people here, people who want to help this cause and also people who might need your help, or someone who might know someone who needs your help. What are the challenges that they face and then therefore you all face in trying to get them jobs, the biggest problems?
So on the employer side,
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge for the employers are, it's a little scary to take a risk with a guy that's just coming out of jail. And so, part of our model is to absorb that front end risk, right? We are their employer. So we're vetting these individuals for potential employment. For the employer that's looking to help and be a part of that solution, we provide 12 months of support, post their placement. So we're engaged, for the long haul. We don't just get them a job, dump them on an employer's doorstep and walk away, and we don't have anything else to do with them. We're there to help them stay engaged. If they have obstacles dealing with transportation or childcare, anything that comes up that may impact their ability to keep that job, we try to help them navigate that process. For the individuals, being able to sit in front of an employer and say, I've made a mistake. Here's, the consequences of my mistakes. Here's what I'm doing now to better my life and regain my dignity and be a part of the community and be an active member.
Yeah, and it's super, super important to stopping the cycle, if you will, because a lot of times people become a product of the system and then they just can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Sort of like once you get tagged with it, you have this magnetic pull back towards it. And so you really have to go out of your way to be a good citizen.
Yes,
and that can be
absolutely.
very difficult if you don't have a job.
Yeah, and it's if you look at it in their investment, right? They've invested a lot of time in perfecting their craft, and maybe their craft is what got them in trouble.
Yeah.
Now they have to kind of reinvent themselves sometimes, and investing that kind of time on the outside, it's very different. I mean, you have to think differently, you have to act differently, you have to respond to situations differently, and that's what we try to do through our life skills model, is teach them how to respond appropriately to these types of things that may come up in their everyday life. Either they have a difficult boss, or they're living in some sort of transitional housing, and dealing with just the stuff.
Yeah,
on a daily
even with
basis.
your help, it's not going to be just
It's not easy.
a slippery road right down to success. They're still going to have to
easy.
work hard. Now, what about people who are seeing this right now who would like to participate in helping the cause? What can they do?
They can email me personally, rsmith at Center for Employment Opportunity, coworks.org. And if you want to come down to the office, meet one-on-one, we'd love to have you, 450 A Street, Unit 300. Give us a call, 619-684-4810. We can definitely help you in that cause.
Thanks for all the great work you're doing, Robert. Really appreciate your time today.
Thanks.
For being on the show. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guest is our go-to guy in Encinitas. Please welcome back to the show real estate expert, Michael Jacobo.
All right, he's here. MJ, Michael Jacobo. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
Another controversial topic in Encinitas.
Once again, right?
Yeah, Cardiff specifically.
Yes.
The Coastal Rail Trail. We posted on Facebook, so Beck, we're going to get to the Facebook comments in just a second. But for starters, for anyone who doesn't know, what is this Coastal Rail Trail thing all about?
Well, let me start off by saying it's a little bit broader than just Encinitas and Cardiff.
Oh, okay.
It's actually it's going to be a trail, a coastal rail trail that's going to eventually will be from Oceanside all the way down into the Santa Fe Depot.
Oh, okay.
So what's going on right now is some cities have already done it, have already worked on it, such as Solana Beach. Encinitas is in the process of doing it now. And so the controversy is coming up where we have what they're trying to put in is from G Street, which is downtown Encinitas, a rail trail that is going to align right near the current railroad tracks,
Okay.
all the way down to Chesterfield in Cardiff. Here's the problem. You have some people that are for it, some people that are against it. Reasons being is currently they have it set to be on the east side of the railroad tracks. We have some residents in Cardiff that like for it to be on the west side of the railroad tracks. This is where the controversy is coming up.
So it's all about that, just where they're setting it
it's good
in respect to the railroad track? That's the big problem?
That's one of the big problems.
Okay.
That's one major problem. Another problem is the residents of Cardiff don't want to have this wall because currently right now from Chesterfield all the way up to Santa Fe, there's no fence or anything along where the railroad track is. So people, pedestrians can run across the
I do it all the time in Del Mar, I'll be honest with you. I
See?
step on those railroad tracks all the time.
And so that's what they're trying to prevent. So the problem
Guys
is,
like me.
guys like you.
And me.
Oh, great. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to come up with some ideas as far as what would this fence look like. We have some people say it's going to be a wall. We have other people are saying that it's just going to be a 4-foot fence that will end up being just
Chain link or
like
something?
no, not even chain link, just the wires just going across.
Single wires?
Yes, wires going across. And only 4 feet tall.
Pointless. Pretty
That's
much.
not that bad.
Yeah.
It will be a bike and rail path all the way again from G Street in Encinitas, downtown Encinitas, all the way to the end of Chesterfield in Cardiff by the sea.
So we asked social media what they thought about this, and we specifically asked Encinitas and the people of Encinitas what they thought about the coastal rail trail and whether they were for it or against it. I didn't tally up totally because we were still getting comments even as of this morning, but there were a lot of no's. There were a lot of no's. People don't like it in general. That seems to be from our Facebook audience. They don't like it. Beck, let's hear some of the specific comments
Okay, yeah,
from this post.
We're going to start with Dave Gagnier, and he says, no. It is a waste of $8 million, and it will cause enormous noise pollution by the elementary, with increased train horns caused by the at-grade crossing planned for Montgomery. It will also include a fence that prohibits access to the beach. No.
He says, no. So, is any of that true?
I don't believe so.
No.
There's a lot of misled information out there.
Okay.
First of all, the numbers that I've found, seeing that the cost is going to be $5.1 million,
Okay.
not $8 million.
Okay.
In regards to the fences not allowing people to come across, what they're planning on doing and what San Diegans is going to be doing is going to be implementing some additional pedestrian walkthroughs. So now you wouldn't be crossing it on, going across into the beaches, beach access illegally. It'll be done legally.
Gotcha.
So they're going to add some.
Okay.
As far as the horns, they are trying to implement for Cardiff specifically is a quiet zone, is what the North County Transit District is calling it.
I think they did that in Del Mar because I never hear train horns. I hear them coming. You know, there's a sound of the trains coming, but I never hear horns. Even though they probably should blow them sometimes, since there's a lot of people down there near those tracks, and it always worries me. You know, that when I hear those trains coming through.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, that's what they're saying. The people that are for this project is saying, in actuality, it will be less horns because now the conductors of these trains won't have to be blowing the horns because people are running across.
Yeah.
And just so you know, a quick statistic, as of 2012, we have had 10 deaths there. 10 deaths and 80 near misses. Right in this little area that we're speaking of. So it can enhance it. It will help that. The fence one will help it. Also, the additional pedestrian crossing will definitely help
safety.
it. Exactly.
Good question. Let's hear some more from social media, Beck. Let's do a couple more.
Rubens Mello says, I love the way it is. That's what makes Cardiff the special Cardiff.
I love his name. Ruben's mellow?
Ruben's mellow.
I want to know Ruben's mellow. He sounds like a pretty chill dude.
You sound like a likable guy.
I think that's what probably a lot of the no is people just saying, no, we like it like it is. We moved here because we like it like this.
What they call it, if one person says they want to keep Cardiff kooky, you know, so they want to keep it the way it is. People don't like change.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what I believe comes down to. I think it's just people like it the way it is. That's why they live there. They like the streets the way they are. And I will tell you, San Elijo Avenue, which is what we're talking about, a part of this is the fact that there's no sidewalks. It's dangerous. I've actually run there all the time. You are running directly on the street. So ultimately what this will do for people, it'll allow people to have a walkway, a run pathway, a bike trail that would, again, take you from Cardiff all the way into downtown Encinitas and safe.
And be safe. Let's hear from the other side of the argument, Beck. Let's get one of the comments from the other end.
This is a funny ha-ha. Simon Halewood says, if it makes my access to the Kraken easier, I'm for it. Hashtag selfish.
Nice, nice. It's nice that he recognizes that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get down to the brass tacks, because I mean, ultimately, I think you know how this plays out in desirability, which ultimately leads to values of property.
Right.
How do you think that would work out from a real estate perspective for homeowners in this area if this project goes on past the construction, of course? Mm-hmm. What effect would there be on real estate prices just as a result of this project?
I think what it'll do is it'll enhance the walkability of the community. So I think people will enjoy it. I think people will pay more because it will bring people here. It'll allow you to walk or ride a bike from Seaside Market in Cardiff and take a stroll north into downtown Encinitas and go to the different pubs, go to the different restaurants there, and it's going to look beautiful. There's plenty of photos that we'll show and what it's going to look like. I think it will ultimately help. You're going to see people be able to walk right out their doors onto this path, run, bike up and down Encinitas.
Michael, thank you so much for being here, man. Really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
your time. Thanks
Derek,
for
thank
all
you
your
very
great
much for having me.
research and stuff on the show.
My
if
pleasure.
you are looking to buy or sell real estate in Encinitas, call Michael Jacobo, which is the Jacobo Realty Group. You can trust him. He knows what he's doing. He's been a huge advocate for the area. We appreciate your time, sir, very much here on the show. And stick around for more
Smart San Diego TV,
where we
guaranteed to make you smarter than everyone else.
commercial free.
Our next guests are joining us for the very first time. Please welcome from Prolific Real Estate, Maria Mikas and David Gullifer.
Here they are. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming. All right,
Thank
great to
you.
have you here. Huge topic. I've been wanting to cover this forever now because we've seen things sort of shifting, changing a little bit. Just little holes here and there in the San Diego real estate market where sellers have just dominated the transactions for a couple, 3 years now, right?
That's right.
So I want to ask you guys this question, and then I want to kind of talk about home buyers and what they might be going through. But are we finally close to, if not in, a buyer's market?
We're getting more to, depending on the neighborhood, and the neighborhoods really are different.
Sure.
But in a number of neighborhoods, we're starting to see where it's more of a balanced market. And it's really a push from the buyers. Buyers are really now having to stretch because of the rise in prices to get into the homes that they want to get into. So they're really forcing sellers. They're pushing for more repairs or better quality and different things like that. So it's really a push from the buyer side, trying to get the seller to be accountable as a seller to make sure that they're getting a good home.
Yeah, and that sort of is an indicator, right, that we're
Right.
getting into a buyer's market, because in the past few
Yeah.
years, a lot of times buyers wouldn't have that kind of leeway. There were
Right.
so many other people
Right.
lined up for that property that they just kind of had to say,
Right.
yeah, we'll take it as is, you know.
Right, and the buyers now are they're saying, well, maybe we don't want it then. You know, if you're not going to do what you're going to do, then we're going to wait and find the right house because we're spending a lot of money here.
Yeah, and so we're also seeing that there's still multiple offers, but not as many. So we're able to get a better price for our clients and not be as competitive. So,
Right.
Yeah, well, that's helpful, right? I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
need that, don't we?
yep.
I mean, the seller's market forever is really difficult.
Right, because I think for a first-time buyer, when they're buying a property anyways, it's nerve-wracking and they're nervous and scared. So on top of that, to have multiple offers and to be competitive and to have to act quickly and jump on a property that they love and make a decision faster than they normally would is kind of nerve-wracking for...
It's uncomfortable.
It is very uncomfortable.
Right? You have a lot of people second-guessing what they're doing in those situations. Whereas now, I mean, if you can go in and you can say, hey, we want this, we want this, we want this, and get it, you're going to feel a lot better about it.
And honestly, because of that, we're seeing a little more fallout. We're seeing things fall out of escrow because the buyers aren't getting what they want. You know, so like I say, the buyers are the ones that are kind of pushing, saying, look, we need to think about ourselves here, and maybe we should rent for a little longer until we find the right thing, or we find the right house or the right situation.
And that's
and
how
I think that kind of brings us back to how we typically work with buyers. When we first invite them into the office, we pretty much give them an idea of what the whole process is from start to finish, so that they feel comfortable when they're ready to make that first offer. And so I've been selling real estate for, gosh, 23 years, and about 5 years ago I had a client who was like, wow, Maria, I sold him a $75,000 condo, and I was so excited. And he goes, geez, Maria, you look like you just got into real estate, you know, and not only that, you're not even selling us a $500,000 house, you're selling a $75,000 condo. And that's the type of relationship that I have with my clients. Is
you got to tell us where the $75,000 condos are.
Yeah, well, that was 5 years ago.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is we just got done selling his brother a $200,000 condo. So it's going up.
Yeah, it is.
And then the mom is going to sell her property. So we like to build those relationships so that we have future business,
of course,
you know, and we get a lot of testimonials, and that's just, I just like to be real with clients and make them feel comfortable, and I think that's why we
So if you're going to be real with a buyer, a home buyer today, who says, and I know there's a lot of them out there, who say, you know, I tried to buy a house, it's impossible. There's, you know, the lending has gotten so tough, and there's so many people who are trying to buy these properties that it's impossible. It's a needle in a haystack. What would you say to that person right now in this market?
Well, I mean, first of all, I would definitely invite them into the office, just so that we can lay out a plan. And that's the thing that we do best, is everybody wants now business, which I do too.
Sure.
But we have our pipeline where we have so many clients that, you know, by today, by 6 months from now, by a year from now. So our relationships are not just today. And they can feel that when they come in, when they say, well, gosh, the credit's not that great. Well, let's see what it looks like, you know, and we can have you talk with them.
Sure. Still do it to this day.
So yeah, so we lay out a plan, and I'm very optimistic. You know, we don't want to give false hope, but we also want to make sure that they know that the dream is still alive. And whether it's today, you still want to buy next year, right? So let's lay out a plan and make it happen.
And I should just make a plug for my free service. I've been doing as Mr. Credit on the radio for years. I did free evaluations of people's credit reports. So if you're not sure, you know, how to improve your credit report, or you're looking to buy a home, or maybe that was the reason that you stopped because you couldn't get a loan, you can always reach out and I'll help you for free, 100%. To figure out how to fix your credit. That's what you're referring to.
And that is a huge step, and you do a great job. So
yeah, well, I think what we've seen here is something really interesting. You've talked about sort of the bid and the ask and where things are at. Sellers are still up here. They're leaning a little bit. They're starting to give a little bit, but the buyers are down here and they're going, oh, we need to get this, or we're going to go this way. Isn't that kind of the first domino in the shift from the seller's market to the buyer's market, which we could be potentially entering right now?
It is a good sign, and there's some other signs as well. We see buyers saying, well, maybe we should rent. Maybe it makes more sense for us to rent for a while, you know, which kind of sets them back. And so buyers aren't as scared about not getting into the market. They're like, well, maybe rent is a long-term possibility. Now, when I'm looking at that, I say absolutely not. This is the absolute best time to be a buyer because you can negotiate a little bit. You know, we've seen where it used to be where, okay, here's the purchase price, and then in order to get it, you had to be like 10 or 20 or $30,000 above it. Now, here's the purchase price, and maybe the best offer is at price, and maybe a couple are below. So you've got the buyers are feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, a little more room.
And not only that, is with rents rising, I mean, we've literally, with the interest rates being very competitive, we've literally gotten clients into properties where their mortgage is about the same, if not less.
That's
and
what's
so
crazy.
that's amazing. We just did that. It's amazing. We had a client that had, you know, their payment was, their rent was $2,400, and their mortgage now is $2,150.
Yeah.
So they're like, wow, we own a house and it's less than what we were paying in rent.
And that's a huge win-win. That's the no-brainer.
That
when you're ready to say the no-brainer, that's what I'm talking about. That's the no-brainer.
Well, and the biggest thing I think about a mortgage is two big things. One is, if you're renting for a certain amount and then you're going to turn around and get a mortgage, even if it's for a little bit more, you have to remember that mortgage, if you get the right mortgage, it's never going to go up. Rents in San Diego are constantly rising. 5 years ago, they were $300, $400, $500 less than they are now, and they're going to continue to rise. So if you end up with a mortgage payment instead, that's something that'll stay the same for years and years and years. As your income goes up and as the market rises, you're going to have this fabulous mortgage payment that's lower than anything that you could rent.
Yeah, and that is, if you can ultimately get that and keep it, it's a hedge, because when you're buying real estate, it's not necessarily as much of an investment as it is a hedge, right? You're protecting yourself against rising rents by fixing in your cost, your housing cost. It's sort of, as a consequence, is an investment, because, by the way, it can go up in value. You're paying in equity. Those things are all consequences of a good hedge buying real estate. And right now, buyers are getting a little more leeway than they have in the past. So if you missed it the last time around, might be a good time to check back in. Thank you guys so much for being here, Marie and David. Thank you so much for your time. It was great to have you on the show. Appreciate your insights. Prolific real estate. And of course, stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV,
where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
Commercial free.
Our next guest is the only 8-time champion of the real estate debate. Please welcome back to the show real estate expert, Elizabeth Story.
She's back! What's up, Elizabeth? How you doing? This is an awesome topic. I've done this research myself before, trying to figure out, like, where are the best beaches in San Diego? What are the differences in all the beaches?
Well, that's why my family moved to San Diego.
For the beaches, right?
Hell yeah.
And a lot of people internationally will watch this video on YouTube later and be looking for information about the beaches. So it's so exciting to have you back. It's so exciting to have this topic on the table. Where do you begin?
Where do you begin?
Yeah, where do you start with something like this?
Well, first of all, we have a lot of beaches, and it's easy to kind of forget that as a local, but I mean, it's all coastline, and that's why almost everybody who moves here wants to live here, is because they want to be here for the great weather and be close to the beach. And it was funny because I did a really interactive poll on this to get some of the locals' feedback too, and you kind of remember some things that you might forget. And one of them is, well, if you're going to ask the question, where's the best beach, you kind of got to know what you're looking for.
True.
Are you looking for sports? Are you looking for surfing? Are you looking for scuba diving? Are you looking for kayaking? Are you looking for bathrooms? Are you there with kids? And I have answers to, I've selected about our top 4 based on the criteria that the locals gave us.
Aha. So you did a Facebook poll. We did a Facebook poll.
Yeah.
We have some interaction from our Facebook poll we'll get to in just a little bit, just to give you some feedback on that. Tell us what you found out.
Okay, so picturesque, just breathtaking, beautiful, La Jolla Shores in the Cove, and Coronado topped our list. Some things people talked about, like La Jolla, I've been there scuba diving. It's beautiful. You can go in the caves. There's kayaking. It's also got some lower waves for the younger children in the summer busy seasons. And the water's a little bit shallower in places, so it's actually a little bit warmer, which was some really interesting feedback from locals. And then Coronado is just this wide open beach, very family friendly. And one guest talked about the gold flecks in the sand. And you'll remember it was made kind of iconic from the movie Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Well, we had Coronado and La Jolla at the top of our list too. That was the Those were the most mentioned beaches.
Those are a couple of my favorite beaches.
Yeah, it's hard not to love Coronado, La Jolla. Of course, those two areas for real estate prices are much higher.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know, they might be the best beaches, but are they the best value
Right.
for the beach? And that's where you come in.
From a real estate perspective, Pacific Beach and Mission Beach, because they share a zip code, are on fire.
Really?
Transaction-wise, they're on pace to have their record high for 6 years this January. And they're also very popular. They're popular for different reasons, though. They're much more bustling beaches. There's a lot more activity. There's shops. There's places to go. And then you also have the Mission Beach iconic roller coaster and just a lot of activities for people to do if they want to go and eat, too.
So are we talking about prices? High prices or high volume number of
High
sales?
volume. So
Okay.
Mission Beach and Pacific Beach are higher in volume. They have seen some appreciation, but they're only up about 4.63% the last 12 months. Now, places where we've seen really good appreciation are Solana Beach. Solana Beach is up over 7.5% the last 12 months, and Oceanside is up 7.5% the last 12 months. Oceanside is an area that I've been talking about for some time. I really have been recommending buying in Oceanside for quite some time. There's a redevelopment plan for Oceanside. It's the face of Oceanside is changing, and it's definitely, if you compare Oceanside to some of the other areas, like for example La Jolla or Solana Beach, it's drastically cheaper, sometimes even as much as like by half.
Yeah.
But yet you're still on the water. So
Same ocean.
Exactly. And you know, I have a client who always says they're not building any more oceans. Okay, there is what there is. It is a limited
I don't
supply.
think they are.
No. Okay. So as we continue to run out of real estate along the coast, we'll keep going further and further north. We've seen a great expansion in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of new developments. Carlsbad has grown leaps and bounds, and now that's going to start flowing over to Oceanside.
100% agree. I think Oceanside there was a great opportunity to invest in Oceanside in this last downturn where people now have doubled their money already.
Yeah.
Because there's been such a run up and it's kind of one of the last affordable beach areas, if you want to say affordable beach areas, meaning you could get something near the beach and still have it, under conforming loan limits,
Correct.
I mean, and that's a big deal for a lot of people because, we're talking to people who are buying second homes
Right.
or investment properties or even vacation rentals in the beach areas.
Right.
A lot of times it's not a primary residence. So those things really matter. Where can they maximize dollar investment? And Oceanside seems to be one of those places. Solana Beach, I was actually surprised to see that was one of the places because like Solana Beach is so small, but that must be
Right.
part of the reason.
Well, it's got a whole vibe. So I've seen, I've been living in San Diego. I won't tell you how long because I don't want to date myself. But I really have seen a lot more formations of communities, neighborhoods that really become a neighborhood. And Solana Beach is one of them where it's really got this kind of funky little vibe to it now. It's got some cool bars and restaurants along the coast that people go to have a good time. And I really think it's becoming more of a little bit of a close-knit community.
It has actually. I know someone who lives there, and I was looking at moving there when I ended up moving to Del Mar.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, you're coming to live the good life, huh?" Nobody lives in Solana Beach.
Yeah.
And that's what they call it. They call it the good life in Solana
good
Beach.
life.
Yeah, the good life. Let's jump to
can see
social
it.
media, Beck, real quick and see
Yeah.
what a couple people had to say from our Facebook page.
Let's do it. So Karen says she doesn't want to tell anyone where her favorite beach is because she doesn't want all the yahoos there.
That was the most liked comment
Yeah.
on our little post that we did on our Facebook page.
She even has a little emoji
"I'm
there
not
and
saying."
everything.
She's like, "I'm not saying because I don't want the yahoos there."
I'm on the same
That's
boat as
funny.
her. I'm not
Really?
telling anyone my favorite beach is because
Really?
I like them because they're quiet.
Okay.
I don't want anyone going there.
How about the other one from Glow?
Glowmucci says Imperial Beach. You can actually park, eat at C180 on the beach without waiting, have breakfast at a funky cafe, parentheses, The Wave, walk out on the pier, and no crowds. And IB got voted cleanest beach.
Interesting.
I've never been to IB.
I find that shocking.
That's tough.
There's some pollution from the Tijuana River going
Yeah.
on, so I'm not sure about that one.
I'm not sure about that one. Well, cleanest beach, maybe not
Okay.
cleanest
Waters.
ocean.
Okay.
Yeah, cleanest beaches. I think
So maybe just stay away from the shoreline,
there's a
but
difference there.
stay on
Just
the
look at
sand
it.
where it's dry.
They're different.
Yeah.
There, here,
There.
not the same. Not that there's anything wrong with IB, but there are things that are known facts,
Yeah.
about the water. I mean, everybody kind of knows.
Yes.
So And you had a lot of interactivity on your Facebook page as well, and you actually had a contest.
I did. I offered a gift card for somebody who had really valuable feedback, and I wanted to announce, congratulations, Faith Bristow, you won the gift card. So the gift card's in the mail.
It's on the way. It's on the way. So let's get down to sort of the brass tacks of this whole thing. We know what the beaches are like now. We know what the hottest beaches are. How do we make decisions if we're wanting to buy in a beach area, and what information can you share with us about that?
You know, I always love to put it back to, it's kind of an individual question. Are you trying to buy an investment property that you're going to hold? Are you going to retire? Or do you just want to live there with your family? Right now, I really like Coronado for retirees, as well as Carlsbad for retirees. Carlsbad has the lovely little village, and Coronado, it has a lot of amenities for retirees. So depending on where you want to be and what you want to do. Another really awesome thing about Coronado, and there's really nowhere else in the world quite like it, is you have the beach in your front yard and the bay in your back, depending on which way your house faces.
Right.
And I mean, you just cannot find that anywhere else. So in fact, I'm helping a client right now buy a second home in Coronado that they plan to retire in. Now, as far as families, I do like Solana Beach quite a bit, Encinitas for families too.
Yeah.
They have great school districts. You'll see a lot of families on the water. So if that's something that you're looking for, as well as Carlsbad. I mean, Carlsbad's lovely. You know that I used to live in Carlsbad. I sold my house in Carlsbad, but I miss it dearly. It's a lovely community. It's clean. The schools are great. The shopping is great. I mean, I could do everything I needed to do in a 3-mile radius in Carlsbad. I miss that. So it really, I always like to say, it depends what you're looking for. But one of the great things about somebody like me is I've lived all over San Diego. So I work all over San Diego. So if you want to know which beach is best for you, give me a call and I'll help you make that decision.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Yeah, I think there's a lot to consider. What depends on what you're buying, right?
Yes.
You're going to live there as an investment. But there are big differences.
Right.
It is the same ocean, but there are big differences in the communities and what people are looking for. If they need convenience, Carlsbad makes sense, right? If they want to be in the hustle and bustle, Mission Beach, PB, those areas make sense. If they want to take a chance, maybe if they're very aggressive as an investor, maybe that's the Imperial Beach person who says, you know what, I think they're going to clean that up one day. Let me buy today and then it'll double when they do. Something like that. Or if you have a family in Orange County or LA and you want to go Oceanside, it might be perfect for you to take that opportunity. So I think there is a lot to consider, but I think you're a great person to call. If you're looking to buy in the beach areas in San Diego, you can call Elizabeth Story and she will give you all the data, all for free, so you can make the decision that's best for you and your family. Elizabeth, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming back on the show.
Thank you.
You look amazing as always, and stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV,
where we guarantee
to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go. Angela? Nikki?
Yeah, I gotta go beat traffic. And I think Nikki's making something up there.
Look at this. We did this. We did all of this.